ワンピースは実在する。
俺はモンキー D ルフィ、お前らを超えて海賊王になる男だ。
人の夢は終わらねえ。
Welcome
to Nerdville.
We'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. We must be cautious.
Hey there, fellow nerds, I'm Fanfi.
And I'm Turtles. Oda does it again, where he cuts off right before the most epic fight in One Piece history. However, we do get to see more of the God Valley incident and the full roster of the Rocks pirates, as well as one of the most wholesome backstory in One Piece.
As Turtles said in the previous cover page, the theme these past few chapters has been to represent animals with certain characters. Here, Chihuahuas are the animals, and they managed to beat Zoro at musical chairs, winning his precious Wado Ichimonji.
We continue with the cleansing festival that we saw a bit last week. As they prepare to start, they announced that this year's rabbits, referring to the people that are about to get massacred, 13 special guests worth 10,000 points, and the winners will get unbelievable prizes. This refers to the 6 treasure chests on top of the columns in the center stage. We get another glimpse of Garling, who proudly states that the rest of the celestial dragons are pests, and that they should sit back and watch. We also see 3 other figures who are participants. This means that these people are also celestial dragons. We have never seen celestial dragons apart from Imu, the Gorosei and Garling, who are not dressed in their astronaut suits. This seems to point us in the direction that these individuals are members of the God Knights, like Garling. This is even clearer when the masked individual says that Garling will not win this time, insinuating that they might be some sort of rival. Also, the person below Garling exclaims that the Man-Mayer family will win. We're getting bits and pieces here of the society in Marie-Joie and how it might function. It used to seem like all celestial dragons were those royals prancing around, living a life of debauchery. But it appears that certain families like the Figurine and the Man-Mayer family perhaps have traditions of certain members being warriors. In medieval times, in European royalties for instance, it was actually quite common for the first son of the family to go to war to prove themselves. Maybe something similar is happening here with the God's Knights. An example of nobles representing European royalty is the name of their capital, Marie-Joie, which is a French word, which is unsurprising since Pengia Castle refers to the castle of Chambord in the Centre-Val de Loire, a region in France. We've already seen that the God Knights are the police force of Marie-Joie, as stated by Akainu in chapter 1054. But knowing that they might all be celestial dragons is quite interesting. To think that not all celestial dragons are satisfied with being weak as they are, except for of course, godhead of debauchery himself, Saint Charles, who is ridiculously tanky.
The rabbits are in disbelief of what is about to happen, crying and yelling, hoping that this is only a nightmare. We see a couple of nobles inspired by Garling that decide to start firing blindly into the crowd. The announcer warns them to stop immediately since the game has not yet begun. It is worth noting that the announcer is laughing while saying this. As 200 nobles wait to start hunting, the scene ends on the announcer taunting the prey, saying that the hunt will begin in an hour, and for now, to run, little rabbits, and give us a good chase. We head to the Marine headquarters. A conversation between Fleet Admiral Kong and Garp is happening, as the Fleet Admiral requests Garp's presence at the event to prevent an imminent danger. Garp, uninterested, tells him that he doesn't care about the celestial dragon, and is not surprised of this happening since they stole something important from Hachinose. Kong responds saying that Roger is also on the move, as Garp exclaims, "Lead with that next time," and that he is on his way. This cuts to a panel of Hachinose where certain pirates say that the Rocks pirates have already left, and that they should hurry up. We can assume that those pirates are Roger and his crew, since it would parallel Garp leaving in the previous panel, and those two are the heroes of the God Valley incident. Also, the next panel has pirates say that this is going to change the pirate world, referring to the Rocks and Roger crew confronting one another. We cut back to God Valley, where Eva realizes that the island is surrounded and that they will never be able to escape this hellish reality. And they chose this place to hold the event as an excuse to obtain the natural resources. Ivankov explains that they will all be dead in 3 weeks, emphasizing how unfair this world is. Another prisoner says that they promised them their freedom if they manage to survive. Ivankov, enraged, explains that there has never been a single survivor in these events, and that the celestial dragons want them to hope so that they will run, and that is why they lied to them. The only way to survive is to try to escape the event. Returning to the festival, Garling is killing multiple targets, with commentary that he just got 10,000 points, and that his strategy is to take out the highest targets. Adenden Mushi is filming the entire event as we see Marie-Joie, where the remaining celestial dragons are watching the massacre with joy.
This leads us to Ivankov getting the help of a fishman to break his chains. Could he be the revolutionary fishman Hack? Jeannie starts explaining her plan, saying that two of the prizes are the Azure Dragon Fruit and the Pawpaw Fruit. They are the key to their escape since they could fly or teleport away. Jeannie adds that she's already wiretapped the Marines and divulged the location of the event a couple days ago, expecting some chaos to start. Some prisoners aren't convinced, since the Marines are surrounding the prizes. Eva asks if anyone wants to distract them. Unsurprisingly, Kuma says that he will do it, since he is sturdy and doesn't want to see anybody die. Eva strongly agrees with the sentiment and vouches to not let them die. Returning to the blockade, a cannonball is fired at the Marine ship. It's the Rock's pirate ship. The Marines wonder how they arrived and what they're after. As they fire, Rox, invisible as always, shouts out, "Follow my lead, crew!" Finally, a panel revealing the full roster of the Rock's pirates, with Goatbeard, Kaido, Big Mom, Shiki, Captain John, Gloriosa, Stussy, and others. Seeing Shiki finally in the flesh in the continuity of the manga is very cool, since Strong World wasn't canon. If you don't remember, Gloriosa was the Amazonian queen 2 generations before Hancock. We met her when Luffy was sent to Amazon Lily. As for Captain Zhang, as well as Wang Ji and Silver Axe, they have been name dropped by Sengoku when he was giving the newer Marines a Rock's history lesson. But we also seen them before in Thriller Bark, as their corpses were being used by Moria. As they prepare to land, the monster crew immediately starts bickering. An example of this is Stussy latching onto Whitebeard as Gloriosa calls her out for it, and Stussy retorting, "You're the one to talk." This catty attitude is quite hilarious, because now we know that Stussy was really in love with Whitebeard, giving her obsession in chapter 1073 with her son with Newgate. But also when we were in Amazon Lily, Boa was suffering from love sickness. Gloriosa had mentioned that this had happened to her previously, and who better to fall for than the ladies' man himself, Goatbeard. If you have made it this far into the video, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more One Piece reviews and theories.
Do it. Captain John mentions here, "Hehehe, my precious treasure." This shows us his personality, where he is clearly focused on acquiring treasure, which he probably amasses anytime the Rock's pirates do a big raid. If you forgot, this treasure was later found by Buggy and was quite the fortune. Thanks to Luffy finding the treasure map on Thriller Bark, which, as we said previously, was where John's corpse was. Each known member gets a panel giving us insight on what their objectives and personalities are. Whitebeard is concerned that Rox will lose sight of his objective, calling him an idiot and a moron. As we saw in Strong World, Shiki's inferiority complex kicks in, where he screams at Whitebeard, asking him who put him in charge. As for Big Mom, she is quite different to how she is now, not driven by her desires or hunger, but very objective-driven and competitive. While the newcomer Kaido, obsessed with fighting, wants to fight Roger, the others state that this is the decisive battle and that they will settle this. We get an announcement that the Rock's pirates have landed. We see Celestial Dragons complain to a Marine, fearing for their lives. As the Marine blockade is updated about a fleet of incoming pirates, they wonder how their secret location was revealed. The Roger pirates finally arrive on the scene as well. It's so cool to see young Roger with the straw hat. We haven't seen him wear this hat, I believe, ever since we saw Riley reminiscing on how he met Roger. Also, we just see more of how much Ace resembles his father. This prompts Garling to order the Marines to retreat and protect the Celestial Dragons. The Royal Knights must follow him into battle, as we see 2 more members are revealed behind him. The Marines don't know if they will make it since Rox and Roger are here, but no need to worry, Garp is here. The same 2 Marines fangirl, exclaiming, "Woohoo! We're saved!" He ignores everyone's excitement and demands Roger's location. In the midst of this chaos, Eva and Kuma achieve their objective and are in the possession of the Azure Dragon and Pawpaw Fruit. Eva tells Kuma to hurry up and eat the fruit. Suddenly, Big Mom snatches Eva's pride and shoves him. She goes towards Kuma, telling him to give it to her. Eva yells out to just eat it. Kuma gobbles it up. As Eva joyfully claims victory, Kuma is pushed to the floor by an invisible force, like we saw in the previous chapter with Sanji and Bonnie. It's Jay Garcia Saturn, looking exactly the same, emanating black lightning hockey. He addresses Kuma, stating that because of his heritage, he can live as a slave or die. Kuma asks Garcia if he's someone important, and continues that he doesn't understand how being born would make you more or less important, adding that being born a slave is no different than not being born at all. Kuma concluded that if he had any amount of power, he would save as many people as possible, just like Nika.
Saturn, enraged by these comments, responds with, "And that's why you need to be eradicated," letting us know that the persecution of the Buccaneer race is because of them revering Nika as a god. The narrator tells us that this day will be forgotten. We see God Valley with black lightning appearing with 2 comments. Hold it, rocks, and you're in my way, Roger. We're pretty sure that the speech bubble here is Roger speaking. However, you're in my way, Roger could be only one of 2 people. The first one would be Rocks, obviously, since Roger is speaking to him. But we're not sure where this conversation is taking place. Since Garp and Roger have to team up in this conflict, Garp would definitely say something like that to his rival. Oda is really the king of cliffhangers. I'm sure a big majority of you, One Piece fans, felt the same way as us, wishing for more, where we were cut off moments before the action began. This is the second time that this has happened for this particular incident, since in the Kaido backstory, if you want to call it that, we see Big Mom recruiting Kaido for the God Valley job, cutting off right before we could see it. We know that this backstory is more focused on Kuma, and Kuma's involvement in this incident is over, but this is the fight that every One Piece fan wants to see. We are curious to discover with you all which backstory in the God Valley incident will appear in next. Shanks or Blackbeard possibly? Shanks would be the obvious choice, since we know Roger found him as a baby in a treasure chest after the God Valley incident. Shanks is 39 years old, and this lines up perfectly with this incident. Given Garling's personality, it's very likely that he was intimate with a slave. And if he considers that other celestial dragons are pests, how would he feel about an impure child born out of wedlock? Perhaps he would put his own bastard son as one of the prizes in the treasure chest. As for Blackbeard, in his backstory, we might see him find perhaps Rock's diaries, like Yamato found Odin's. It's a common theory that Blackbeard is linked to Rocks in some way. He is either Rock's secret son or the embodiment of his will, like Luffy is for Roger. There are many examples of this, such as Teach naming his ship Saber of Zebek, or his similarities to Luffy. In this chapter, despite not seeing Rocks, we see a bit of his personality, rushing into action without thinking, with Whitebeard calling him an idiot or a moron. This is similar to how Roger's crew talks to him. The resemblance between Rocks and Roger is similar to Teach and Luffy, where they have comparable goals, personality, and aspirations, but completely different morals. Sorry, got a little sidetracked there. Let's get back to the chapter.
The story refocuses on Kuma's backstory. They end up in the Sorbet Kingdom in the South Blue and have established their home in a church. Kuma is praying. Eva asks him how long he plans on praying. Kuma answers that he is thinking of how many more people he could have saved. Eva reminds him he saved 500 souls in that mess. Ginny adds on, saying that he is amazing. Eva tells him that his hands are blessed and that they are the hands of liberation. Hearing that, Kuma gasps, looking at his hand with pause imprinted in his palm, saying, "Hand of liberation?" Here we see Kuma's dreams come true, emphasizing that his father was right, his faith in their savior would be rewarded if he survived, and he was even able to liberate people just like Nika does. We also get more evidence from Oda that religion is a real thing in One Piece, and that Nika is supposed to represent a real deity in this world, as we see that Kuma is praying and lives in a church. Perhaps this is showing us how the Buccaneers revere Nika. Not only that, but the idea that Garcia was so enraged at Kuma just mentioning Nika's name could point us towards the idea that the world government represent the devils who rebelled against God and despises anyone who worships him, as we theorized in the previous chapter. Eva announces he is going to sail the seas to bask in his freedom. Kuma says his goodbye, saying that he will never forget his face. Eva, laughing, says that no one ever does. Ginny apologizes and states that she will be staying with Kuma until she figures out what she wants to do with her freedom. The pair start building their new life, getting all the essentials and stating no more dumpster diving for food. They will work for it. Kuma encounters 2 children that start throwing rocks at him, since they don't believe he is 9 and that he is scary. Ginny rushes over and beats up the children. The kind-hearted Kuma removes their physical pain with his pawpaw fruit. They thank him, wondering if he has magical powers. Following this, they go home and eat. Ginny finishes her plate quickly, mentioning that she is still hungry. Kuma gives her the rest of his meal. They then bond over the fact that they both became slaves at the age of 4, and Ginny adds that it's the first time that she has ever felt full in her life. She starts crying, as Kuma joins in, asking what's happening. As she answers, "I'm just so happy." The narrator is pulling ever more at our heartstrings, stating that this is their first taste of happiness and hope. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Are you guys disappointed about not seeing Roger and Garp team up against the Rock Pirates as well?
Hope you enjoyed, and don't forget to leave a comment, positive or negative. We need the engagement. If you also like Star Wars or at least lightsabers, I mean, who doesn't? Make sure to check the video that comes up right here on all 7 forms of lightsaber combat explained. See you next time.
Peace out!